Hello and welcome to Pokemon Horizons, episode 22 review. And to no surprise, this episode's pretty good. It features our main three reaching the Galar mine, where Roy and Liko get split up from Freed as Rigatito and Fueco had run off. Roy, thinking they're getting close to Rayquaza, decides to keep on going down into a mine despite Liko's want to reunite with Freed. But she sticks with Roy, and that's a real big part of this episode. Roy's eagerness to just hop in and follow his passions without the thought of if he can handle it or not. So when they suffer for it, it looks like he's really shook by that because he's got them into that situation. Through the episode, they run into Pokemon and miners who have been affected by something bad, so they help out and eventually end up in a situation when they run into Zora and Konya of the Explorers. Konya has Golduck ready to fight, but Cap, who's come to find the kid separate from Freed, rushes in and knocks it away, as Golduck is knocked to a cliff. A bloody Galarian Moltres arises, and it is not happy, quickly launching attacks which only Cap's really capable of fighting back against. But because Cap's having to play defense of Liko and Roy, the damage is quickly racking up big time. Meanwhile, Freed has encountered a Mephio, and they get to battling straight away. Something like is seeing how Freed doesn't really take a Mephio too seriously. He likens a lot of a Mephio's moves as playing, and that's just kind of fun to see after Spinel had recently made him get serious. It's just fun to see a battle dynamic make a return, because that was a really big highlight of the first few episodes. Back to Moltres, it's weakened everyone and drained their energy. There's this real great moment where Roy looks around and decides to not give up. He fights to his feet and shakes off the negative energy from Moltres. Fuecoco follows up and they use a flamethrower, which Moltres shakes off no problem and traps Fuecoco. Cap jumps in after it and saves Fuecoco and has to defend Roy again, and it seems to go down. Liko, following all these examples, gets up and gets him to retreat, having to really prompt Roy as he's absolutely shook by Moltres' power. They get into a minecart and escape the mine, going past Freed and Mephio, have a mine collapses behind them, leaving Freed and Mephio up against Moltres. So, this episode's pretty fantastic. I think it really highlighted a weakness of Roy, even though that wasn't necessarily the theme of the episode. Like, yeah, being passionate about something is a fantastic thing, but when you follow your passions without a plan, things might not work out too well, and I'm very interested to see how Roy will grow and develop from there. They do leave the theme on a little thick, as there's a scene where Murdoch's getting a tea instead of a coffee, and when he expected it to be a coffee. And Ludlow talks about how assumptions are dangerous, which obviously relates to Roy assuming that Moltres was going to be Rayquaza, but like to me Rayquaza was just going to end up more dangerous anyway, so this scene kind of broke the pace. Of course, the return of a Mephio was a highlight too. While I like Spinel a whole lot more, it's just fun having him go up against Freed and giving him some good action. He's being very no-nonsense and obviously has his own plan he needs to make happen as he's going up against Explorers by pursuing Rayquaza anyway. Being put into position now where he's going to have to fight against one of the 6 heroes will certainly be an interesting development for him. But of course I can't give my final thoughts of this episode without mentioning Cap. I genuinely wonder how battle would have went if it weren't for defending Liko and Roy. The way he is trusted to go and look after them is great. I really appreciate general respect that Caps get from the crew. And always seeing that translate into battle is a treat. With way Freed's Charizard blew Moltres away too, I fully believe Freed and Cap would have put up an excellent performance if the kids didn't separate from him and Cap had to play defense. So yeah, all in all this episode's great. I can't wait to see how they counter Moltres and follow up from this.